minus 1 minute. T minus 50 seconds. T minus 40 seconds. T minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
We're back.
That's right. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the stream. What's up, Legion? How's it going?
Oh, Legion.
Good evening. How's it going?
Legion, I've been following. I followed Legion on Instagram. I've been looking at all of his videos and stuff like that. He puts out some great content.
Oh, yeah? Of course.
Shout out to Legion.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Hashtag We Are Legion. For sure.
We got an awesome stream tonight. We're going to go over some of the stuff we're talking about here. We got some Spider-Man news considering the video game and the movies.
Yes.
The Craven movie as well.
Interesting.
Some news about Marvel and San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Some Secret Invasion news. And we'll also talk about the Secret Invasion episode 1 later after news. And so some stuff with that. Some news about The Flash. And we'll also talk about the Flash movie. Batman, the Brave and the Bold. And then after that, that's all the news we can talk about. And then we can talk about Secret Invasion episode 1 and Flash. Full spoilers for everything. We're not holding back. And then we can do cover battles after that.
Yep.
So, yeah. Obviously we got to start with pickups. So you want to go? I'll go first. I just have one thing to show off. Secret Invasion was fine. Nothing bad.
I agree.
I agree. Yeah. Flash left me wanting, but was fine as well.
You're not gonna like what Harper's got to say about the Flash. I told him he doesn't have to convince me of his opinions anymore about the Flash because I'm kind of over.
Legion may side with me here,
but you gotta. But he's got to convince. He's got to convince.
I'm not convincing anyone. I'm not convincing. Okay. So the CGI that was atrocious. We'll talk about that later. Talk about that later. Okay. So I was working on my shop yesterday, and so we have like some video games, and I got my classic DS Lite here.
Ooh.
You know how it is. Okay. So anyways, I've lost a couple games for this, and I only have 2, but now I have 3 because I bought a third DS game. Beckerman says he liked Flash. I agree. I also like Flash.
It was decent.
You know this game, Scribblenauts?
Yeah, I used to have that. I used to play that.
I swear I saw a ton of kids playing this, and I never had it. And I think it was like a mobile game as well, too, wasn't it? I think it was on mobile.
It was.
Yeah. I never had it, and so I got it and I played it, and it's good. I had to remind myself, Flash was made 3 years ago.
That is true.
So I
forgot about that as well.
Going to movies. Really?
I think it got delayed
because of all this stuff.
Times. That is true.
That's right. Wow. That's true. What's up, Charles Lacey? How you doing? Haven't seen anything talked about so far. Across the Spider-Verse neck and neck with Transformers as greatest animated anything. Wow.
Transformers.
All right.
Honestly, that's a good take
as well. Yeah,
that's a good take. I mean, you might maybe not agree as much on the Spider-Verse front, but
yeah. Hold on, wait. Let me.
Harper's got some opinions of his own that we will discuss. That we'll discuss later.
So anyway, Scribblenauts is like it was like $6 or something like that. So got that. It's kind of fun. And I got this case. I got my case, and I got
Yeah.
I got Kung Fu
fancy.
Panda 2. Okay, Kung Fu Panda 2, and got the Ghostbusters game, bro. So, yeah, just saying. All right, what are your pickups? Let's see what you got.
Oh, Legion said Iron Giant beat Spider-Verse. Honestly,
No, I
agree with that.
Agree.
Iron Giant was like goated.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right, pickups tonight. I got some really good pickups. I only got 5 books. I didn't spend a whole lot of money on these, but I think the books that I did get are worthy to go a little bit in depth about. So I'm going to start off with this amazing book right here. This is Ultimate Invasion, issue number 1, The Return of the Ultimate Universe. I got this sick 1 in 25 Miles Morales variant cover with him web slinging. He's got the doves behind him flying in the sky. From what I've heard, and Legion, since you're in the house, you probably read this already. I don't know if you're referring to this book or what, but I heard it started out like this story is pretty decent, or pretty good. But yeah, I decided to pick up the 125 variant. It was cover price, so I'm very happy about it. Really cool. I might start reading it because I do like this Return to the Ultimate Universe. Is he about to kick the birds? I have no idea. Maybe. Very interesting book though. Next one. This one's got a little bit of damage, but I'm not complaining. This is Blip Magazine, issue number 2.
What?
And
wait,
that's
a thing. I've seen that.
Yeah, the issue number 1 is the first appearance of Super Mario Bros. In comics, so it's like it's an expensive issue. I don't think it's in this book. I have no idea, but it's not on Key Collector. But I got it because it's got a Spider-Man cover playing the Spider-Man game from back in the day.
I'd get that too. I'd get that too.
I got this for $3. This thing is pretty cool.
It's a no-brainer.
Obviously, it's got a little bit of damage, but it's not that bad.
I love that cover.
Pick it up.
Oh yeah,
it's a great cover. Dude, check this book out. It's Captain America, issue 341. Look how vibrant the colors are on this cover.
Oh, sweet.
Look at the spine. It's like it's got that black down the spine, and there's like no spine ticks or anything on this copy.
Satisfying. Nice.
So if you don't know what this book is, it's the first appearance of Lamar Hoskins, otherwise known as the kind of sidekick to the Captain, which is also what's his name? It's from the Falcon and the Winter Soldier series. He's the replacement to Captain America. I forgot his name. What? Yeah, you can't remember. I can't. I like the character, but anyway, Lamar Hoskins' first appearance. Okay. This very nice Cap v Iron Man cover here, with I think personally one of my favorite Iron Man suits ever.
John Walker.
John Walker. Yeah, that was it. One of my favorite Iron Man suits, U.S. Agent. There you go. The Silver Centurion Iron Man suit right here on the front cover.
Hey, you wanna see something? See something real quick. Hold on.
Let me see.
I just organized all my art.
Ooh.
There it is.
Oh, there it is. Let's see it. Show it. Yeah.
The Silver Centurion right there.
I think that might be my favorite Iron Man armor, and then my second favorite is the Mark V from Iron Man 2. You know, the one that kind of like it's in the suitcase. He like puts it over his chest. And
yeah. Hold on.
I like the silver and red Iron Man themed suits better than the gold and red. I don't know what it is. I think it's just personal preference for me. Yeah. Silver Centurion and Mark V, I think, are my two favorite Iron Man suits.
The silver and red is yeah, I did it. You know it.
Yeah, he's got all those. Quick shout out to Harper's art videos. He's got all those videos on his channel.
You can look at the playlist. Go to playlist. You can look at all the Iron Man time lapses.
This next book is a great pickup. The Amazing Spider-Man, issue number 9. This is the Spider-Verse event, part 1.
Oh,
this is the second appearance of Spider-Gwen, and it's the first appearance of a bunch of different Spider-Man variants, including Web Slinger, which is the cowboy version of Spider-Man.
Really?
This thing is in high grade. I'm talking 9.6, 9.8. I bought it for under $10. This book is going crazy right now on eBay, as well as the Spider-Verse Part 2, which is actually, I have a Spider-Verse, I think number 10, or Spider-Man number 10, which is the first appearance of Hobie Brown, Spider-Punk. That book's gone absolutely insane. I found this book for under $10 today. Spider-Verse Part 1, book for 2 decades. That isn't the first appearance. Yeah, that is true. I got this for under $10. I'm very happy to pick this up right now because obviously everybody's waiting for Beyond the Spider-Verse to come out next year. And of course, all Spider-Verse issues are going a little bit crazy right now in terms of recent sales. So I was able to pick this one up for a very good price. It's a very high grade. And it's going to go with my other Spider-Verse books in my box. So
Nice.
my last book, I think, might be one of my favorite Daredevil issues I've wanted for a long time, and I'm finally able to get it. This book also is kind of going a little bit crazy right now because of, obviously, the announcement for the Daredevil Born Again TV series that's coming out in a couple years. Daredevil issue 227. This is the part 1 of the Daredevil Born Again storyline when Kingpin finds out Daredevil's identity to be Matt Murdock. This thing, I've been looking for this book for a long time. This thing is an extremely high grade.
Nice.
It's extremely vibrant. I was able to pick it up for cheap. Very, very nice book. Like I said, I've been searching for it. And those are all just 5 books this week. Those are my 5 pickups.
That's good pickups.
Yeah.
Solid
really
pickups, bro.
Really good pickups.
Nice.
So.
Awesome.
All right. We got done with that in the first 10 minutes of the stream.
Yeah.
It usually ends up taking longer than that, but I guess we can move on to all the news.
All right. Sounds good. And plus we need all the time we can get for Secret Invasion and Flash.
Yes.
Also appreciate all you guys for watching right now. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
All right. To start things off, we got some concept art for Spider-Man 2 featuring Miles Morales, Peter Parker, and Venom. That's pretty sick.
I love this dude. Look at
Me
Venom's design. Look at how cool that looks. Like I feel like when I saw Venom for the first time in the first Venom movie, I was excited until I missed the part where he didn't have that big white spider logo on his chest. And I feel like there was something when I saw that, and it was just a part of it I felt like it was missing. Now looking at this, I feel like it's basically how the Sonyverse Venom looks, but with that white spider logo on his chest, and it looks amazing. So not only are we getting art for Venom here, which looks incredible, but we're also getting a potential fight with both Miles and Peter fighting Venom, which is something I would really want to see rather than having Miles fight Peter in the symbiote suit, which is probably going to happen, to be honest. It's probably going to happen, but if we end up seeing Eddie Brock and he does get the Venom symbiote, which we know he will, I think it'll be Dylan. I don't know. I don't know if they'll do that. They might. That would be cool. If so, then I need to get his first appearance right now. Otherwise, it's going to skyrocket.
Yeah.
I really can't say. I feel like either one would be cool. I feel like Dylan would be a weird choice, but I could see why they would make it Dylan. I mean, if they wanted to do something different, because I know that already. I played both games. They've already done a lot of things that are more unique in terms of the Spider-Man character in these 2 games than they've done in movies in recent years. So if they do decide to go down the route of Dylan Brock's Venom, I feel like that would be very interesting. I would like to see his motivation for why he wants to go after Spider-Man, which I don't know. I don't know what the motivation is going to be. I suppose there really doesn't have to be a motivation because it's Venom, and Venom just kind of has his reasons because he's kind of just an anti-hero.
Yeah. What's up, Sector? What's going on?
But yeah, I'm excited. I'm very excited for this game. I have been playing Spider-Man Miles Morales and the first Spider-Man game. I've just when I'm bored, I'll go and play it. That's been me for the past 2 weeks and the beginning of my summer. So that's Yeah, I'm very excited for it.
I'm personally not much of a campaign person. There is an exception. I was telling you backstage about Alien Isolation.
Yeah.
It was highly recommended to me by my coworker because he was like, if you love the first Alien movie, then you'll love this game. And so I mean, it's a horror game, you know.
Oh yeah.
So it's really great so far. It's kind of hard for me to kind of stick with like a campaign story, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe I'll try out this. You think I'll be able to hop on like just the new Spider-Man 2 without playing the previous games if I play?
I've had people ask me that too. I feel like it's not really a must, but I feel like they're gonna reference some stuff, and if you don't get the references, or if there's like a callback to one of the previous games that you won't get, that might be important.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like then I would like pause and go play the other games and then resume the second one.
Gotcha.
But to be honest, it's really just a whole new story. They're introducing Kraven, they're introducing Venom, so it's not really any of the same villains and stuff like that. But dude, we got a bunch of people in here.
Bro, what's going on, Brian? From LCS. What's up, Brian LCS?
But yeah, anyway, it's like I'm excited for it. I feel like other people, if you've played or haven't played the previous Spider-Man games, it's gonna be a whole new experience for you on its own. But I feel like to get the full experience, you need to go back and play those games for sure.
Right.
But definitely the Spider-Man games, in my opinion, some of the best games of all time. And I think that's rightfully deserved, in my opinion. So.
All right. You said it, not me. So. All right. Moving on. We got some more Spider-Man stuff. I kind of organized this into like Marvel and DC. I think it's only Marvel and DC actually. So yeah, we got some release dates for the 2 new Spider-Man movies.
Okay.
This is a different crowd for us, honestly. It's not usually these people, so you're not alone. It's okay.
November 8th, 2024. Now these are just like put on a slate, so we don't have like confirmed about which one is which. But I have some theories, and I think this is probably what it's going to be. Now, the Venom 3 is happening. It's a thing. They were planning on a fall release date for next year. And I think that's what that November 8th, 2024 release date's going to be.
Gotcha.
I don't know who the main villain is going to be. Obviously, it can't be Carnage, which is sucked. So the first Venom was fine. I was fine with it. It wasn't the best movie, but at least it wasn't on Morbius level of bad.
That's true.
Let There Be Carnage was underwhelming, and it didn't. Yeah. Carnage didn't deliver on the level I thought he would. And I feel like that, and I feel like I knew that when I found out it was going to have a PG-13 rating.
But
because Carnage isn't really a PG-13 character. Like it's the same thing with I feel like Blade. Because you know how they're going to make Blade a PG-13 movie, which is I'm still sad about.
Yeah,
but it's like Carnage is such a violent character, and I feel like I'm not saying his like how they adapted him into that movie. I don't count any dates until the writer's potential actor strikes or ever. Yeah, that's true. Because they're probably going to end up getting pushed back. It's a whole thing.
Like the freaking.
Let's just consider.
Remember what we talked about the Avatar release dates last
stream? They got pushed back like 3 years.
Avatar 5 is coming out 2020. Was it 2031 or was it 2029 or something like that? It was something crazy.
It was 2031.
It's 2031
is supposed to be the final Avatar movie's release date. Of course, unless they decide to make like 10 more, which is very possible. But
and then like I think 3 or 4 years before that, we're getting Secret Wars. I think supposedly.
Yeah.
So,
but let's just, I know I don't count them either, but let's just talk about what the potential, like what these movies might be if they are going to end up coming out on these dates, which, like I said, is very unlikely. Current Goddess Symbiote's Venom is PG-13, but when you talk about the original conception of the character, it's very rated. Yes, that is true.
Mm-hmm.
And Venom 4, I don't know what it's, or Venom 3, not Venom 4. Venom 3. Carnage was great in Venom Let There Be Carnage. Like the whole adaptation of Carnage in that film was, I think, pretty spot on. Woody Harrelson did a great job as Cletus Cassidy.
Right.
I thought it was good. Just the overall movie, it wasn't the best.
Yeah, it's okay.
Like I said, it wasn't like Morbius level bad, but it's like
it was not as good as the first Venom. I thought Venom was like. I thought it was like I feel like that'd be like maybe like a 7 out of 10 for me. I think it's a good movie. It's not the best Marvel movie.
I think it's a very underrated villain movie in terms of like Marvel.
Yeah, I mean it's more like
villain
anti-hero.
origin. Yeah, it's more anti. Yeah, I suppose.
But
I also like like the dynamic they have where it's very like they talk to each other, and it's like. I feel like that was a good way to go about Venom because I feel like having a serious Venom works in certain ways, but I feel like if you connect this dude to Spider-Man, he's got to be believable as a connection to Spider-Man. So having him joke around once in a while and talk to himself in the form of Venom is a good way about doing that.
I didn't know that Kraven is the guy from Kick-Ass.
Yeah,
I didn't know that. He's all grown up now.
So anyway, November 8th, 2024, that release date is probably going to end up being the Venom 3. I don't know who the villain is going to be for that movie. I'm not informed on that side of things. I don't know what they're talking about. I just know it's happening, and I know they said they were planning on a release date around the fall timeline for next year, which, obviously may or may not happen since the writer's strike. And yes, I would like to have confirmation. But let's move on to, I feel like the more interesting one here is the June 27th, 2025 release date.
Yeah.
Because there's a couple of things that this could be. I think the most likely option for this is Spider-Man 4 with Tom Holland. Now, I know, obviously, who knows how long that's going to get pushed back till, but they were planning on a 2025, 2026 release date.
Okay.
And I feel like this middle, like June 2025 release date during the summer, that's a very good, I think, place to put it in terms of
DJ Links, what's up, bro? Hey, look at what I got right here, huh? Oh, I had that prepared, didn't I? Yeah, that's right. I did have it.
He pulled it out.
Yeah. What's up?
So yeah, the June 27th, 2025 release date, I think, is going to be Spider-Man 4. I don't know what else it would be, to be honest, because these are Spider-Man specific movies, unless we're getting the live action Miles Morales movie, which is that's not going to come for a while. They announced it, but I doubt it's going to be.
The what? Wait,
coming
what was announced?
So they announced a live action Spider-Man Miles Morales movie.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Sony did, but I'm not sure that's going to be this release date because I feel like that would take. I feel like they would have to release that.
If it was released, that's 2 years from now, June 27th.
Yeah.
2025.
There's no way, and they've already been working on Spider-Man 4, so I feel like this would be the most likely thing that these two dates could be is Venom 3 and Spider-Man 4 for the 2025 release date.
All right.
That's what I think. There's no confirmation, and obviously these dates are probably going to end up getting pushed back because of the writer's strike, which is not that much of a surprise because, as we discussed in the last stream, they are pushing everything back. Everything from Deadpool 3 to
we had a whole screen for all the movies that were pushed back from Marvel.
Yes, and on top of that, the Avatar movies, like we mentioned earlier, are also getting pushed back by a lot.
I feel like the funny thing about that is, like, why even set a release date for that far in the future?
I feel like, I don't know. That's a bit of a wacky decision on their part.
And not only that, but like, who cares about the Avatar franchise?
No, yeah, we talked about this last time. We were like, what did we say? We were like, who's gonna remember what happened in the first two? Like, who's gonna honestly, like, I'm bummed out about but they'll be worth it. I don't know. Like the first one, I had to look. I know everybody loves James Cameron, and I get that, and I get the first Avatar movie was like groundbreaking and whatever. But for me, to be honest, they're good. They're good films. But it's like, Nick? I don't know if I'm going to be invested that long and be able to tell myself, hey, I have to go see this when it comes out.
Okay. All right, Legion.
I just can't remember it. I'm just not going to
say it.
remember.
Everyone's gonna remember the side for us.
Yeah.
Well,
It's probably what's going to happen. I'm not going to remember. You're probably going to remember. But I'm just...
what's crazy to think is like what the CGI is going to be like in Avatar 5 in 2031.
Do you think it's gonna get to the point where the CGI gets so good by the last one they have to go back and fix the first like 2 to make it better?
Why the heck would they do that? No.
Well, like we'll say it gets to like god tier, like ultra realistic levels of CGI in the final one. Do you think they're gonna end up going back and fixing
no, they're not. No one's ever done
that. Would be whack.
No.
Well, hey. The first, nothing's been done like the first Avatar movie before until that came out, so you never know. They might.
I mean, like rules. You could do like a remaster, but I don't see why.
Well, I don't see why Marvel has to push back all these release dates now, do you? So it's like you never know.
Yeah, well, okay. Legion is all for Avatar. I see you. All right.
I get the hype for Avatar. It's just not my thing.
Yeah. Disney is ridiculous about claiming release dates so far in the future just to try and get other studios to pick different dates.
Yeah. Disney's Disney, dude. There's not a whole lot we can do about it. And we're gonna get to that talk a little bit later, actually. We're gonna talk about Secret Wars.
DJ Link says by the time Avatar 3 comes out, it'll start actual Na'vi.
Probably. Probably.
Yeah.
Okay.
It. Moving on. Oh yeah, the Kraven stuff. Okay, so there's a Kraven poster which I changed the picture. There's a poster that came out, but it's just him. It's him on the throne.
Actually, chat. What did everybody think about the Kraven trailer?
Because the trailer came out.
Look, I liked the trailer. I thought it was good. I liked what I was seeing up until one moment, which I thought was complete BS.
Was it?
And I want to see if somebody can guess in here what that one moment was in the Kraven trailer.
It's not Rhino.
It's not. I thought how they're gonna do. Rhino looks right. The thing with Rhino is that, made me laugh loudly. Okay. Kraven.
Oh yeah, the Titanic. Have you heard about that? Did you hear about the Titanic?
I did hear about that.
That's insane.
To be honest, that's like rich people problems.
Yeah.
Like if you willingly go like 20,000 feet under in like a man-made submarine, powered by an Xbox controller, there's no way nothing can go wrong.
Happens, bro. I hate when that happens when you get trapped in your $1 million sub visiting the Titanic.
Yeah. That's like rich people. And to be honest, I don't care if they're now they have to be dead. So it's like
hashtag Mondays, am I right, guys? Jesus Christ.
Yeah. The hero of the film is a villain. Yeah. Well, that's not the one moment. There's one moment about how they're gonna do his origin in this trailer that I wasn't a huge fan of. It was when he was like, remember when he was like pinned down by that lion?
Yeah.
And the blood drop like goes into his bloodstream.
So I didn't catch that.
He has like, did you see that? I hate this, dude. This made me so mad.
Didn't that happen?
There's a moment in the trailer where he's pinned down by the lion, and he has like an open wound on his chest, and you see a drop of blood go down.
That's like She-Hulk.
That's
like She-Hulk.
Yeah, and I was like, wait a minute, are they going down the like radioactive lion route for a Kraven origin? Like, is that how he gets all of his strength? And I'm like, the thing with Kraven is that he's like especially trained. Like his dad was like a Russian, like he's
a special agent.
He just has like crazy training and stuff like that, and crazy strength because he's trained his whole life.
Yeah,
but they're giving him like powers.
Yeah, Aquaman on land. Yeah, he can like communicate with animals.
Wait, he said the lion blood, basically Charlie Sheet's. Okay, so the lion, I don't know what it is, but so I know nothing about Kraven, so that lion scene doesn't hit me as hard. I get it though, it's only from on the nose. Look, Craven is like he's kind of like he's not really a normal dude. I wouldn't say that because he's deadly strong and he has a bunch of super special skills that makes him deadly.
He's
right?
already like a special ops guy. He can like use the gun well and like
the reason why he's called Craven the Hunter is because he has to look for competition to kill. Like that's his whole thing, right?
Okay, yeah.
So it's like obviously when he finds Spider-Man, we saw this in the Spider-Man 2 trailer when that came out. He was looking for a competition to kill, and then his grunt or whatever showed him the map of New York City with all like Spider-Man, Black Cat, Miles Morales, like all the villains, all the competition, and he just kind of took it all, and then he was like, "We need to go there right now." So he's just like this, but it's like what they're doing in the movie is they're doing that, but they're also giving him just like straight up like predatorial powers in the form of like lion's blood.
Yeah. Which like lion's blood getting into your bloodstream would like
they're doing the radioactive lion route.
I feel like you just like get like AIDS or something from that, you know? Like I don't know if you get superpowers, but
it's like think of something a little bit better. Like to me that just seems lazy, ridiculous, and there's just no reason. It's just like make him Craven instead of like a dude with like lion.
Is Russell Crowe the dad?
Yeah, Russell Crowe's the dad. But I feel like his accent and everything.
I feel like he's a good Craven though, you know?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. People were saying like, why didn't you just cast him as Craven?
I would not have watched it if it was Jason Momoa. Jason Momoa is in everything, bro. I don't know.
Yeah, he's in everything. Actually, speaking of that, I started watching Game of Thrones. Like my plan for this summer is to watch all of Game of Thrones, and I'm on season 4 now. But it's like Jason Momoa was in like the first 2 seasons of Game of Thrones, and I was like,
really.
This and apparently everybody's in the show, and I'm only halfway through, so it's like Pedro Pascal showed up, like in this most recent season.
Wow.
Emilia Clarke's been throughout everything, obviously.
Guys, if we don't see like if Legion just like stops uploading like suddenly, then we'll know why here because of this.
Hey, Comic Journey's here too. Look at that.
So, Outside Momoa's and Fast X is going to burn out and get overplayed. He's.
Don't get me started on the Fast and Furious movies. I haven't seen them all, but I can already tell.
I think we all have the same
those are.
On here. I think we're on the same page.
Yeah, the first one and Tokyo Drift are the only good Fast movies. Like it's.
Well,
it's
I mean those are the only 2 I've seen, but I mean they're good.
Yeah, well, those are the only 2 you really need to see.
Yeah. All right.
So it's like, you know.
All right. Anything else about? Anything else about?
Yeah, look, Craven looks cool. I'll check it out as long as I don't see like Morbius memes for the Craven movie and the reviews aren't like complete shit.
Yeah.
Then it's I'll give it a chance, you know. But it's
I'm worried it's going to turn out into a Morbius movie. The trailer, it just looked like an average action movie though to me.
It kind of did. I'll give you that.
Yeah, that's all I.
Basically, John Wick with like Spider-Man ties to him.
The entire Fast and Furious franchise is just Vin Diesel saying he has a family.
Yeah.
All right.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay. All right, moving on. So, Marvel's not.
People are mad about this, dude. This is a touchy subject.
Marvel Studios will skip Hall H at San Diego Comic-Con this year.
No MCU slate. Woo!
No, at least not at San Diego Comic-Con. This doesn't mean they won't release a timeline like they do.
But it's like, why would they not go to San Diego Comic-Con? Like,
what do they have to hide? Huh, Marvel? What do you have to hide?
What do they have to hide? To be honest, like, what are their plans? You know why? It's the writer's strike. They're pushing back release dates. They don't even know if it's funny.
True.
You know what I think about? It's like, you know how they have those like timelines? I feel like if they did go to San Diego Comic-Con and showed like a timeline, it would be the same timeline we recently got for all the upcoming Marvel movies, except everything would just be pushed back in Secret Wars, and Avengers King Dynasty wouldn't even be on the timeline because it's been pushed back so much.
Right.
Like, that's what I think it would look like if they did, and then obviously Timeless for yeah, it's there's nothing else I feel like Marvel can do that's gonna make
we're set for the next
we're
5
set.
years, you know.
Yeah, we got a whole another decade of Marvel films to go through, a whole new saga of Marvel films to go through. And I already look. I told Harper this before the stream. I said I am following Marvel up until Daredevil Born Again, and it for me it depends on if Daredevil Born Again like works or doesn't work, like bombs, fails, whatever, or succeeds in everything I hoped it would be. If it succeeds, I will still keep up with Marvel. I will maybe go see a movie here and there. I'll try to watch some TV shows, not guaranteeing I will watch all of them. And then obviously be there in the theaters for King Dynasty and Secret Wars. But that's about it. Here's the thing. If Daredevil Born Again bombs, I am done with Marvel. That doesn't mean I'll stop talking about it, but it's like
you're not going to watch everything that comes out.
Yeah, I don't know if I can support Marvel like I do now if Daredevil Born Again.
I'm already like what's the word? Like, I'm not watching everything that Marvel is putting out like I did before, like in the first few pazes. Yeah, I'm not that dedicated.
To be honest, I don't really do anymore. I mean, like, it's not excited for the next Transformers. I heard, you know what's weird from the people I've heard? I heard the most recent Transformers film just wasn't great. And like, obviously, I haven't seen it, so I can't say for sure. But it's like, from what I've heard, it doesn't make me want to go see it.
I heard there was, I was listening to this song on YouTube. There's a comment saying that like it came up on in the new Transformers movie, and it like everyone cheered when the song came on. I forget what song it was. I gotta find it, but. I'm kind of interested in it now, honestly, because in a DC guy, I'm just going to follow Marvel stuff that interests me and knows dive into DC. Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I will nose dive into DC too. I am more hyped, I think, for this new era of DC movies, because if you think about it, the DCU is going to be like the new 52 of DC movies.
Yeah, that's
how I look at it as. And to be honest, I'm pretty much for it up until a film that was supposed to be good fails, and then I stop following them. But it's like, who knows? You never know. I'm not,
Marvel has already got me to the point a while back. I watched, but not excited. Guardians of the Galaxy, there was the last theater ticket for me until things are vastly different.
Honestly, I feel like Guardians of the Volume 3 was kind of a turning point for me. I liked but now James Gunn's gone, so it's like I'm more invested in the DCU now. But it's like, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, if people learn...
Oh, it was that one. It was LL Cool J. Yeah, you're right.
I don't know.
Sorry.
We'll see.
Okay, let's move on now. Let's talk about something else. Okay, so we're talking a little bit about the comic accuracy here about the Secret Invasion show.
Okay, look.
We're going to talk about episode 1. We're going to talk about the spoilers later after the news.
Yeah.
What's up? Collecting with Durs.
Everyone's in here tonight.
What's up? Wait, am I sub to you?
You know what? I think you were right about last week. We were having a little bit of an off week last week, and I think now it's just like...
Yeah, we were having an off week.
It happens.
Yeah.
It happens.
So, yeah.
We just said I loved Guardians of the Galaxy 3. It was a proper farewell to the MCU. Yeah, I agree.
So, so let me say this real quick. I did read the Secret Invasion. I have the trade. I read the comics. It's a huge event. It is a huge event. Like, I wouldn't say like Infinity War, but it felt like that where they brought everyone in, and it was all against all basically. And it was crazy. But what we got from episode 1, we'll talk about later. But it feels like more on like a smaller scale. I mean, they're talking about like, world. I mean, I guess it's world domination, but that's so. But we're not having any cameos that I've noticed so far. But obviously, it says here that the director didn't read the comics before making the show. And you were talking
Okay.
about
I'm tired of like directors of things doing this in general. What I'm about to say doesn't necessarily have to do entirely with the Marvel universe or the DC universe or whatever.
Okay.
Here's an example I like to bring up a lot. And I don't know if anybody's seen the Halo TV show, the live action Halo TV show. It was absolute dog water. And I say that right now. Because, yes, I'm a Halo fan. I played all the games, yada, yada, The show was really bad. I did not like it. And here's the thing. Nobody who worked on that show, or at least the people running everything, like the director and everything like that, they said in an interview, we didn't play the games.
That's
why would you make the show?
Blasphemy.
And to be honest, this kind of applies to Secret Invasion because I was reading a little excerpt from an interview where the director of Secret Invasion, or at least one of the producers, was saying like the whole reason the Secret Invasion show exists is because of Samuel L. Jackson's and the guy who plays Talos. What's his name again? The guy who plays Talos. Look that up. They have a very close relationship, and they wanted to do this show. So that's the whole reason why this show exists.
Ben Mendelsohn.
Yes, Ben Mendelsohn. They have like a really close bond. Samuel L. Jackson wanted to executive produce the show, so they were like, we're making a Secret Invasion show. And that's the whole reason why this show exists. The director said, I did not read the comics. Samuel L. Jackson... He didn't say this, but this is what I imagine he would say in his head if he were to say it. Samuel L. Jackson came to me. He was like, hey, I have a good friend. I'm going to executive produce this show for you. You don't have to do anything on your part. Just let us make the show. And that's exactly what happened. Director didn't read the comics. He didn't...
I don't...
The whole reason why this show exists is because Samuel L. Jackson wanted to do this and executive produce it with his friend, who is also the main Talos, the main dude behind this show. And to be honest,
Aggressively Relaxing says, I don't know anything about the sport curling, but I would make a bomb movie about it. That's exactly what we're talking about here. Exactly.
But it's like, I'm tired of directors specifically. I don't care about writers because writers could draw from whatever inspiration they want to. But it's like, I feel like directors, like, you have to have some sort of previous knowledge on, especially for a story like this, to like know what you want it to look like and know what direction, especially, you want it to go in.
Yeah. I guess we'll find out more as
we're not into it yet, so I can't say for sure if this is going to be a good or bad show. But it's like, I feel like if you don't prepare and if you don't try to put some effort in on this stuff, it's not going to end well. Which I feel in my whole theory for the Secret Invasion show is, I feel like obviously first episode was pretty good. We'll talk about that. But I kind of feel like it's just going to be downhill from here, at least in my opinion. Yeah. I don't know how bad it will get. I don't even know if it'll get bad.
Specifically Secret Invasion?
Yeah. But it's like,
I think it's going to get better. I think it's going to get better from here, actually.
Well, we can't say for sure yet. But
how many episodes are we getting, do you know?
I don't know. I think it's like anywhere from like 6. I think it's like 5 or 6, maybe 8. I want to say 8 max.
I'm
50-50.
Okay.
It will be great or get worse.
It's 6.
See, here's the thing. She-Hulk kind of went in a reverse. I'm going to She-Hulk. That's right.
Okay.
So if you don't like She-Hulk, you can.
We did go back to She-Hulk with the blood going into the bloodstream with Kraven.
So with She-Hulk, it was this weird thing where it started off bad and it got worse, and then it kind of got better again, and then it got worse towards the end. So it was this whole back and forth thing with She-Hulk, and I just wasn't a fan of it at all.
Look at
this show. I'm
I want it to do good. Like I like Secret Invasion. It's a cool concept. The Skrulls are cool. The whole like shape-shifting, you don't know who to trust kind of stuff. I like that.
Yeah.
And the first episode really showed that. But how good do we think this show is going to get in terms of Marvel standards?
Well, so far it's better than it's better than She-Hulk. So that's good.
That's
right?
good.
But
at this point, do we think it's gonna either exceed our expectations or not live up to our expectations?
I was pretty hyped for this actually, and then I forgot about it, and then you told me that like it's out this week, and I was like, okay, I'll watch it, and then it was like, all right, it was an all right episode.
The bottom tier kind of summed it up for me. I don't know. It's this whole thing where it's like Samuel L. Jackson is kind of the dude running everything right now because he was the executive producer. He wanted to do this with his friend, and obviously they're the two main actors in the show. So it's kind of like, and obviously the directors have no previous knowledge of they have no idea what they're making. They're just doing what the writers and producers told them to do.
Bottom tier said something very interesting here. He said that someone said Marvel wants to get non-comic book readers to make their movies, and I would assume to make them more accessible to more people.
Here's the thing: if you get non-comic book readers to make the movies, they don't know what they're doing.
It's not going to be as good.
It's not going to be as good.
It's going to stray away from the comics.
I get the fact you want to appeal to more people, but it's like, would you rather appeal to the people who want to see this, or appeal to people who have no idea what this is and go in and think it's just fine with no previous knowledge? Like, it's one of those things where do you appeal to your audience or try and expand your audience by doing stuff your current fans don't want you to do? And that's a big decision. That's a big decision for the studios to make. But it's like, if it were me, I would just stick to what I'm good at. I don't want to go into any new territory. Make the fans happy and not other people happy who probably don't want anything to do with this, with the Marvel universe.
One other piece of news. This is the last piece of news we have, and it's also on the Secret Invasion talk here. So
you can talk about this because I have no real feelings about this.
Okay, I'll talk about this. So for episode 1 of Secret Invasion, after this, we can just roll into talking about episode 1. So spoilers. We're going to keep this segment spoiler free. We're just going to talk about the intro, but after this, we'll talk about episode 1. Bottom tier says, I'm of the mindset that we need to modernize Gold and Silver, Bronze Age stories. They're too goofy for the theater. But if you're going to adapt Copper Age and younger, why not be more comic accurate?
That's what I'm saying.
That makes sense. Okay.
This one, actually, going off of that, I'm going to say this one thing real quick. Yeah. I want to see more like, like the Golden Age heroes that never made it to like the Silver Age or anything, like they just kind of got forgotten. Yeah. I want to see all those get brought back into their own universe and have like an own superhero team with just all of them. Just like cool. The goofy, just like Silver or Golden Age characters that like. Yeah. Alex Ross worked on like the Golden Age Daredevil series, and he also worked on the Black Mask series. Those are two like well-known Golden Age characters that just never made it out of the Golden Age. But it's like, if we did something like that, or if the studios decide they want to do something like that, that's like, that would be sick.
Yeah,
that's what I want to see.
So the intro sequence is made by AI, the backdrop artwork. And I was watching episode 1 earlier today, a few hours ago, and I was watching it. I was like, wait, the way this morphs and the way the style of it, you can see on the screen here, like that looks like the AI stuff I'm seeing online. And I Googled it, and it's like an actual thing, and people are mad about it. And I'm mad about it too. Like, you got this, is Disney $1 trillion company?
Yeah.
$1 trillion company. And it's not even a problem about like paying someone to do the artwork on this. This could have been an original artwork. Someone could have done this, like an artist could have been paid to do this and to have the opportunity to do this. And that's pretty frustrating for me as a visual artist, as myself. Like, I would have loved the opportunity to do this, but they chose to choose AI over it, even when like money is not even a problem, you know?
Yeah.
So that's just ridiculous, honestly, to me. It's kind of cool the way it morphs, and I see the idea, you know, like you said, and like the style's all right, you know, but
yeah.
Yeah.
I just my whole thing with this AI intro stuff is that the people working on this, right? Like
Yeah.
this has happened before where it's like visual effects artists kind of had to try and revolt against Disney and everything for not getting enough pay. It's kind of like the writer's strike. That's what happening, just on a smaller scale, because I think it was really only like Disney and DC and stuff like that. But it was like they were like, you need to give us like a bigger time frame, better pay, better treatment, to get this stuff done. And it's happened before, and Disney essentially said, actually, I don't think we'll do that. And then they fired them and they got a whole new team. So here's the thing. At this point, Disney's just like, or at least Marvel for this specific show, was just like, they were just like, what are you going to do? Try and like come back at us again after what happened last time? And basically, apparently no one spoke up. And then they just said, all right, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to take matters into our own hands. We're not going to hire anybody for this intro because nobody wants to do this again with us. So we're just going to make it all AI and make it more convenient for us to do just to get it done. Right?
You know what? I'm thinking that...
Which at this point is... to my point, I was just going to say, like, there's nothing we can really do about it. So I have personally stopped caring. I get why you care. And I get your reason behind it, but it's like I can't do anything about it. Even the people who were working on it couldn't do anything about it because they just ended up getting fired and replaced. So
the thing, like AI, it's obviously it's taken over, bro. All right, it's Terminator time. All right, we're it's Judgment Day already.
And James, you know what's funny? James Cameron sees it too because he's making the next Terminator movie based off of the rise of AI, which is I find pretty funny.
I think that okay, so aggressively relaxing says any missed chance to give artists work is a crime against humanity. AI should be used to do simple jobs like CEO, accountant, lawyer, because it turns out like this if you try to use it on an actual skill.
You know, it's funny.
It turns out like this. Yeah.
I completely agree with that, but the only thing for me is like, what can we do about it, dude? Like, even the people, like I said before, even the people who were working on it originally, they tried to do something about it.
I feel like it's only a problem for creative jobs if like corporations are in control of it and they can use AI to do it.
Yeah.
You know.
And that's what I was saying. It was like, what do you call it? I was just talking about it. Yeah, they tried to do something about it. And then Disney was like, all right, we're not dealing with this. You're gone, you're gone, you're gone, you're gone. Yeah. We're going to get a whole new team to replace you that doesn't complain. Yeah. So it's like they tried it once, they failed, and no one's looking to do it again. So Disney just made it more convenient and then just used AI to do it because that's the fastest and easiest way.
I think in the near future, production companies for movie and TV shows that hire like actual human people are going to become way more popular because people that need jobs are going to go to those companies, not the companies like Marvel that are hiring AI to do like this is just the bare like this is just the tip of the iceberg right now, just doing the art for the title screen. And we've already seen like the what is it called, the script, like AI writing scripts now.
Oh yeah, you know? That's why the writer's strike is happening to begin with.
Exactly.
Which is
so we're in the midst of it right now.
We're getting replaced. We're slowly getting replaced.
So
it's crazy.
I think that
if people can't see that, like what film has taught us over the years about robots and AI and apocalypse, I'm not saying it's going to come to that, but it's like, if we haven't learned by now from stuff we've already been saying since the 1980s, then we're never going to learn. And
earlier, think 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Oh yeah, that was long before.
Yeah.
So it's like,
how is like the OG like AI villain, you know?
mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's really all I have to say about that. All right, well,
It's frustrating.
yeah. Okay, that's it for news. So thanks. Wait, no, it's not.
It's not it for news. Actually, we're bouncing from All Secret Invasion back to DC.
Yes. So we have two things for Flash. I mean, two things for Flash, and another DC news thing. So Supergirl is in talk to return to the new DCU from the Flash movie. So
okay, Sasha Calle was one of the parts I actually liked about the Flash movie.
Okay,
as Supergirl,
she was a good actor. As a Supergirl, I feel
like she's a good Supergirl. I feel like she's a good Supergirl. It's you know what I like about it? It's a nice change of pace from the stereotypical like blonde Supergirl.
Okay, that's fair.
Seen in live action for the past like 20 years and longer.
That's true.
I thought it was a nice change of pace, and I thought she did really good. And now she's in talks to be like the straight up permanent Supergirl for the new DCU, which, to be honest, I would be fine with. I wouldn't be against it. She did it. She already kind of proved herself in the Flash, to be honest, in my opinion. Yeah. I would be fine with it, especially since James Gunn's looking to go in a different direction anyway with the new DCEU. It's kind of almost like a perfect fit, in my opinion. We just got to see if it sticks, or maybe DC will just swoop in and they'll be like, actually, you're fired. We're getting somebody else to come in and do it, which would kind of be a BS. But it's like, I hope the best. Wish her the best.
Yeah. And then there's a Flash director's cut, a 4-hour director's cut of the Flash.
Which at this point it's expected, because you know what I've learned about DC. Or the DCEU specifically, because technically this is still in the DCEU. It seems like just every DCEU movie that comes out, you should expect there to be a better version coming out that's like a director's cut or an ultimate edition. Because here's the thing, Zack Snyder, with all of his DCEU movies, he did it with Man of Steel. There was a director's cut for the Man of Steel, obviously better than the regular Man of Steel. What do you call it? There was a director's cut ultimate edition, I guess you could say, for Batman v Superman, which is just so much better than the original version. I have seen both versions. I can confirm the ultimate edition is better. And what do you call it? What was the next one after Batman v? Oh, Justice League. Obviously, it was Joss Whedon's the Justice League. Which completely bombed, and I hate that movie. But then Zack Snyder came in and he was like, okay, we actually have a 4-hour director's cut. We're just going to wait until, he wasn't really allowed to release it at first. But then it got to the point where it was like people were asking for it because of how Justice League turned out. And we got the Snyder cut, and it was fantastic. I love the Snyder cut. Obviously, it's a commitment to watch because it's like 4 hours long. But it's like, for what it was, I liked it. I was very happy with it.
Yeah.
And at this point, it's kind of expected now because it happens with every DCEU film at this point. So it's like, I would expect to get a director's cut of The Flash. I hope we do, and I hope there's a lot more cameos, better CGI. I don't know if there'll be better CGI, but I would like there to be better CGI. But who knows?
Yeah. Aggressively Relaxing says, it's not really artificial intelligence. All that is just marketing. The law should be that art made with these tools has to cite what it's pulling from, and you have to pay those people.
That is true. It's a thing. It's a thing. It's like a plagiarism thing, It's like you can't take. Yeah.
That makes sense.
To your point,
sense.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was trying to dumb it down for myself, but I can't really.
Yeah. No, that does make sense though. Aggressively also says, on more things like the Snyder Cut, I love director revis. I agree.
That's what I'm saying. They're always better, especially for the DCEU. And if we do end up getting a 4-hour cut of The Flash, I don't care how long it takes. It might be 2 more years, 4 more years, whatever. Just like keep asking. Yeah, there it is. # release Andy Muschietti cut. That's what I'm saying. Release the Muschietti cut. That's what I'm saying. Is if we just start spamming that, and it's gonna be a Zack Snyder's Justice League thing all over again, where it's like we're gonna get it. Might take a year or two, but it's gonna happen. So it's like, and it exists. We know about it now. So it's like just let us have it.
Right.
Just give us a better version of the movie everybody is divided on right now.
Mm-hmm. All right. And speaking of Andy Muschietti, he's confirmed to be directing Batman: The Brave and the Bold.
I mean, I can't stand it. It's like,
okay. All right.
He's now knowing, because we went over this before the stream, now knowing the other projects he's done
some horror stuff, and like
I feel like he's more of like a horror oriented director, which is like,
I think so too.
You know, horror directors usually have range, but it's like I feel like
this is cool.
I was just thinking about how alternate endings are a thing in video games. Could be a fun gimmick to do in alternate things with physical. You know what I like to think about? Do you remember where they did the death of Jason Todd Robin in the comics, and they did this thing in the issue where it's like, go vote at your local comic book shop whether you want like him to die or him to live.
Yeah.
They should start doing that for films, or at least they should for like DVD releases. They should have that option that pulls up on screen. Cool. So it's like you could see alternative endings or the ending you want to see from the movie. I feel like that would be a better way to like market like
that'd
movies
be cool.
And stuff. Like you could show just like one version in theater, or show both versions and just let people go to see which one they want to see.
Yeah.
With what ending. Obviously,
or imagine on streaming services, like you go to watch the movie and it'll randomly play either one of the two versions, and you'll just have to see which one it is, you know? Like, just wait.
And honestly, Jaeger, since you're here and you said that we were supposed to see more death scenes from Supergirl and Batman, I feel like we should have seen more of those, because I think the whole thing. You know what? We're gonna talk about this with the Flash anyway. I'll leave it there, and we'll just talk about it when we talk about the Flash.
Oh yeah, he said that. Keep in mind, Andy Muschietti is the 18th director for the Flash. Who knows what he actually had to do with it? Yeah, that's right. Because all the we did have some director changes for that. Gimmick of the Clue movie was awesome with different endings. Oh, I didn't see the Clue movie. Have you seen the Clue movie?
I didn't see that either.
I did hear about the different endings, though. I did hear about that.
But they should do more stuff like that, especially with comic book movies, because it happens in comic books all the time, where it's like, do you want to see this happen, or do you not want to see this happen, or what ending do you prefer type stuff, you know? I feel like if they would apply that to comic book type movies or movies in general, it would be a better way to market them.
All right. That's it for news, actually. So thanks for watching the news segment here, guys. All right. Here comes Secret Invasion Episode 1. Full spoilers here. This came out a few days ago. So
spoiler talk, not holding back. Hopefully you guys have seen it. If not, go watch it right now and return to the stream. That would be great.
Yep. So you want to start?
I'll start.
All right.
So Secret Invasion. The first episode surprised me.
Okay.
Because the thing with Marvel is that Marvel is not, they've tried to dive into like more like realistic, like dark stories before, and like 9 out of 10 times they failed at that, because it usually ends up being the campy stuff that Marvel likes to do.
Yeah.
It seems like in this show, they're sticking with that tone, and I like it. I like the fact that it's a little darker. It's a little more realistic.
It is,
in certain ways. Realistic. I like the fact that it's kind of a very grounded, obviously besides the Skrulls and everything, it's a very grounded kind of like, and it also, I think the best part they did about in this show so far is that they've made the Skrulls an actual threat, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like they've established in the first episode immediately, we knew what was happening, we knew what was going on, we were introduced to the situation. Nick Fury. And arguably, we're living through all this with Nick Fury as well, because he hasn't been on Earth in a while, and he obviously has a lot of trauma from being snapped away into dust.
Right, and people have said throughout the episode that like
he's different. He's not the type of agent he's used to be. He's like slower. He's like he's not 3 steps ahead, because Nick Fury.
That's what. Like, they were playing the chess game.
Yeah. And it's this whole thing where it's like, and it kind of showed a little bit in the first episode, but I would like to see why Nick Fury has changed. Like, obviously, it's different now. That's 5 years into the future. I think 6 years at this point, because it's been like a year since.
No, I thought I said present day, Moscow present day.
Yeah, that's like today. So it's like 5 years. There was a 5-year time jump in between Infinity War and Endgame, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, how many movies and shows have there been since then to count as like a full year in the MCU? Like, is this like 6 years now into the future, or is it like?
I don't know.
I can't really tell. Yeah. But anyway, it's like, it's this whole thing where it's like Nick Fury's been trying to get away and clear his head almost, right? Yeah. And he's also there's this big talk about this saber, like he kept talking about saber, so it's probably like a giant, and we kind of saw what he was working on actually in the Marvels trailer when he was up in that big spaceship and he was doing a bunch of research and stuff with Monica Rambeau up in that spaceship in the
I didn't
Marvels trailer. So that's what I think he's working on in this show, or that's what at least what he's talking about working on. It's kind of like a big space station almost that he's working on.
Gotcha.
Which, you know, that might have been something he wanted to commit to since Thanos happened, because he realizes they need more like defense up there instead of just defending their planet. So it's more like spatial defense type stuff. Which is probably what he's more concerned with right now.
I mean, it makes
especially
sense.
After Endgame. And obviously, it makes sense. So the show ends, or the first episode ends with kind of I don't know how surprised you were about it, but they killed off what's her name?
The lady, the agent.
Yeah, I forgot her name though. Hill, Maria Hill. Maria Hill. They killed off Maria Hill, which, like, she's kind of been a foundational SHIELD member since the first Avengers movie, which is like crazy. A big thing. So it's like, now she's gone. And the way that they did it too, I felt like was very good. It kind of felt like an Infinity War. The whole thing kind of felt like Infinity War because
the scroll was Nick Fury. That shot Maria Hill.
Yeah. And it felt like an Infinity War thing because they didn't win in this episode. They lost. The march they went to that they were trying to stop from getting bombed got bombed. People were killed, including
the CGI was really good. By the way,
CGI was really good.
It was convincing.
It was convincing.
For sure.
They lost. They lost in this episode. Nick Fury hasn't been the same. He comes back. There's this huge thing that's happening. They don't know what they're up against yet, but now they know what they're up against, and they lost. They lost to the Skrulls. They lost to their plans.
That's why I think it's going to get better from here, is because they know what they're
up
against
that,
now.
But I like that concept. I really like the concept of them losing, and then there being this big triumph that and obviously makes them end up winning in the very end. But here's the thing. I feel like if it's a thing where they start making them win, just constant wins from here on out, I feel like that takes away from what the first episode did. I would rather have half the season them just losing, and then the last half just like have them like, we're hitting back hard. We're hitting back hard. We're gonna, and then they start winning from there on out, right? Obviously, I would have that rather happen. But if it's something where they just lose this one episode and then it's like the rest of the season, they just start winning, and then Nick Fury gets cocky and everything like that. And like, you know, it's this. I don't like that formula. I feel like that's a very overused formula in terms of superhero stuff.
Yeah,
I would
that's
rather
right.
have them lose and have them have more consequences to their actions.
Yeah.
And retaliation from the Skrulls to make them a bigger threat than they probably should be, which would honestly be kind of cool.
Yeah.
I would rather have that happen than Nick Fury just fight back with like an army of like ex-Shield operatives and just start winning, which is like they don't have the resources for it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like if that's something like that, if that ends up happening to the point where they just like start triumphing over the Skrull rebellion, just like tenfold, then I'll be like, kind of expected, to be honest.
Yeah, true. I feel like
but with that said, though, I thought it was a very good first episode.
Okay. You thought it was very good episode. All right. I thought it was underwhelming for me. I thought that I feel like what you said about it being a grounded story, I typically I gravitate to more grounded stories, like more real life stuff.
Yeah.
But this, I feel like specifically like special ops type thing and like government type spy. This was like a spy movie, kind of, you know?
Yeah.
And like that stuff, it's just, I feel like it's just not for me. It's just not my thing. So it's not a problem with like the production or the story. It's just like the feel of it and the genre is just not my thing. And I feel like I should have seen that coming before I watched the episode and like, you know, as we were leading up to it, but really it was just not it just wasn't my thing. So, but I was impressed with the CGI. Like that big first explosion was impressive, and I'm glad I'm glad it's not Flash CGI.
Yeah,
because that would have sucked. But yeah, I mean, remember the guy at the beginning? He had that really like crazy voice. The guy at the beginning that
you
notice his voice was insane.
Yeah,
have you seen that guy anywhere before?
I don't.
That was crazy.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah. Let's see. And yeah, the AI intro. I feel like, all right, I'm going to get to my scoring here. Out of 10 here, I would give it a 7 out of 10. But the AI intro, Marvel has lost a little bit of respect for me for that. So I'm going to go down to a 6.5 out of 10. There. That's
I was gonna do a 7.5 out of 10. So I guess we can meet collectively at a 7 out of 10. Then.
That sounds good. Yeah,
nice.
The intro really was like, it was surprising if anything.
That. I mean,
okay. All right, 7 out of 10 for Secret Invasion episode. All right, not bad.
Got it.
All right, and we'll be doing Secret Invasion talk every week as new episodes come out. So
yep.
All right, The Flash.
Oh man, this is a very controversial topic for you right now.
Less about me. We'll get to me later. Okay, what about you? Okay, Comic Book Time says you can't wait for Spider-Man 2. Yeah, we talked about that in news. There was a concept art here. Let me show you the concept art real quick. This came out.
Yep.
Which is pretty sick. Miles, Venom.
Very happy.
And Peter, yeah. So
goated at those games, dude. I might go play some more after this.
All right, what do you think about the Flash?
Okay. Here's to put it in perspective for you how I felt about the Flash.
Okay.
I would rather watch the first 3 seasons of the Flash show than this movie over and over.
I agree with you there. I definitely agree with you.
And you know what's weird? I almost want to say that the CGI was better in the first couple seasons of the Flash show than it was in this movie. I honestly might say that.
It might have
because I think it was, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the whole thing with, I think the CGI just really brings it down for me because I can't stay immersed in a movie that doesn't look real, right?
Yeah.
Like I can't convince myself like this isn't a video game, dude. Like I can't convince myself that I'm like not in a video game when I'm looking at the Flash and like a CGI like baby comes up on screen and the physics of it just doesn't work.
The babies were really
can't.
bad. They were really
The
bad.
babies, that whole scene was very, very tragic, dude. I was cringing in the theater watching that.
Yep.
Scene. And then there's this whole thing of I felt like the bad CGI was only necessary whenever he was in that orb and he was running back in time because it kind of felt like it was like turning back.
That was necessary, but it was terrible. The CGI was terrible.
It was still terrible, but I feel like that's the only time I can convince myself like it was actually happening, right? And not just like a video game, like bad CGI, you know.
There's like cutscenes throughout, like all the
and
CGI
there's this whole other group of people who think like the way the Flash runs is not an accurate way of how he should run.
Do you remember when he was in the building with his clone, with his other person?
Yeah.
And he lost his powers, and he just like started running. Like
I thought that was kind of funny. I thought that was kind of funny.
I
thought that was goofy, but I thought it worked. I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
The whole thing with the fact it's weird because like I look at how the Flash runs in this movie, right? And he's like, there's this whole thing where like obviously time slows down and blurs around him, but it's like it's almost like he's moving slow too. And I feel like that's not how it's supposed to be. I think should be moving. But here's the thing: when I look at how they make him run in this movie, and then I look at how they made him run in the TV show, the TV show is more accurate because everything was moving slow around him and blurry, and it's like it was obvious, you know. But he himself was going fast, right? Which I feel like is a better, more accurate version of the run instead of him slowing down when he's running and everything else slowing down also. Yeah, it just looked weird. It didn't look like the Flash running. It looked like he was in Flash time, which if you don't know what Flash time is, that's when everything slows down. It's almost like what Superman did in the Justice League movie when he was going to fight Flash. Like Flash was running and he was going slow, but then Superman, like everything was going slow, but like Superman looked over like with his eye and then he just like went after. That's what that reminded me of. But I feel like him running shouldn't be like that all the time. I feel like it should be him like in the show where he's running fast, but it's everything else is slowing down.
I see what you're saying. And I think it's just as the viewer's perspective as like watching the movie. I don't know if that's the actual physics of it in the movie. Yeah, that's how we're seeing it. But that's what you're complaining about how we're seeing it. Like he should be in real time.
Well, first of all, I feel like the physics in this movie is a whole other thing on its own because there's a lot of stuff that just doesn't work from a physics standpoint. But I'm not going to get into that. In terms of like accuracy to the character, right? I've seen it in the live action TV show. I've seen it in the animated movies as well as the Flashpoint movie and every other interpretation of the Flash in film. The way he runs is very important. And I feel like the way they did it in this film was different and I didn't necessarily like it. I feel like if they would have just stick to the formula for how he's supposed to run.
Different from what?
It's different from how he runs in like every other version. Like if you look at the
Ezra
animated
Miller?
If you look at the animated universe for the Flash, he runs essentially the same as we see in the TV show and every other show and every other movie that isn't Ezra Miller's Flash. Like it's all consistent, and I like that consistency, and it's an accurate consistency to not only the comics but multiple, like the Flashpoint movie and the Flash animated movies. Like it's all consistent, and the way they did it in this movie broke that consistency, and I didn't like.
But that consistency wasn't broken in this movie. It was broken in Justice League when he showed up.
But it's like he's the running how they did it in this movie is even different from when he first showed up in Justice League. It's different. If you go back, so find a scene from the Justice League movie when he's running, right? And then find the scene where he first runs in this new movie.
Yeah.
how they run is very different. Like there's a
Really?
difference between running and moving, right?
Okay.
Moving as the Flash, just him moving around. Like you could see, remember that scene where Batman throws that the batarang at him?
Yeah.
And when he meets him for the first time, he's moving. He's not running, he's moving.
Yeah.
So obviously he's slow, the thing's moving slow, he's catching it, and then it just goes back to normal, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like that's him moving. That shouldn't be him running, though. He shouldn't be running slow, and everything else is also slow.
Okay. Yeah, I see.
It's like, it's just this whole consistency thing for me that I just don't like. And since I'm just such a big fan of the Flash, it bothered me.
Yeah.
But that's really nitpicky, and I'll give you that. It probably doesn't matter that much, but for me, it's essential, I feel like, because on a consistency level.
All right. I think, for me, were you going to say something? Because I'm going to go I was
going to talk about the villain real quick.
Okay, yeah.
Dark Flash.
Go ahead.
Dark Flash literally got a total of maybe 5 to 10 minutes of screen time in this whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess he was supposed to be the main villain because there really wasn't a main villain character. Yeah. The whole thing with Dark Flash is when I look at all of the speedster villains that the Flash has, it's this thing where it's like it goes back to how I would rather watch the first 3 seasons of the Flash show rather than the movie over a couple times. The villain is such an important part to the Flash, right? And I feel like if you mess up the villain, there's really no point of the Flash going on this whole adventure thing. So it's like at the beginning, you see him, he's trying to turn back time. Dark Flash stops him to start his journey in motion to end up meeting him in the end and obviously end up creating him. Like it's this thing where it's like he causes it to happen. So then it starts him on that path to where it eventually ends up happening. Yeah. And it's this whole thing where it's like, okay, I get that like that's something like Reverse Flash would do or like Zoom would do. Like it's something something that you would have to set in motion for it to happen. I get that. Yeah. But then we didn't see him at all until the last like 10 minutes to 15, 20 minutes of the movie. Right? Yeah. And when we finally did see him last, he was revealed to be like the doppelganger Barry, right? But just older, like he's been doing this for a long time. And then it's like, at that point, it's like, you got to look at it from his perspective. It's like, he's been living for probably, because he looked old, I'm guessing maybe 70 years. So he's been living for 70 years just to make this event happen and just happen over and over throughout the Flash timeline. Like it's something that is consistent for him to like come into existence. So it's like he exists and his whole motive was that it's possible to change like things that have happened or have to happen. Right? Yeah. It's like, but that's not really a motive. Like just like being obsessed with something like that. Like we get it, but then our Barry, like our Flash even told him like, you literally can't. And then he literally used him as an example. He's like, this is what he pointed to him. And he was like, this is what happens if you try and change. Like you're going to end up like this, which literally proved his point. Yeah. But then he was just like, no, we can change it. We can go back. It's just like this whole thing where it's like, at one point, do you just like stop being a child and like, just accept the fact that you can't change what needs to happen.
Yeah. I think the maturity of having like the difference of a few years of having the Flash powers, like maybe when having Flash powers when you're more mature, like how old is the Flash? Like 22, like 23 or something?
That is true. And, like there is,
and then you have the younger,
But you also gotta understand it took the Dark Flash like probably close to 70 years to get that. Like he was the Dark Flash for a long time before Barry had to convince him that he can't go back and change. So it's like, at what point like he was literally like old, dude. He was like 60 or 70 something years old. So he's been doing that for a
but
long
he also
time.
did spend like his whole life in the time traveling, right?
That is true. So like it could have made him crazy or whatever.
Yeah.
But it seemed to me that, and they literally, I feel like they called out like how stupid the Dark Flash was being by just like having his younger self sacrifice him. Like he killed his younger self, so obviously he won't exist, and none of it would have ever happened. And
Yeager's saying that the tomato sauce erases Batman, the Batfleck.
And you know what's funny about that? So, and after this, I'll let you go on to your review. So, aside from the inconsistencies and the terrible CGI, oh my god, and the villain just not being what I hoped he would be, a lot of people were very mad at the fact George Clooney came back. A lot of people were very angry. And here's the thing. It's a complete joke. He's not the new permanent DCU Batman. They even said the directors. Yeah, it's a cameo, right?
Yeah.
And here's the thing. People were asking, like, why did it happen? I have a perfect answer for why it happened. The tomato sauce. Look, you can change, and we've seen this before in Flashpoint. You change one little thing, one little inconsistency in the timeline, and that could determine the entire future of that timeline, right? So it's like having that made sense. He changed one little thing ended up changing in his future.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, that makes sense. It's a joke, obviously, but it's like, that's how time works, right?
Right.
So it's like, I get it. George Clooney, it's a funny joke. It was a pleasant surprise. I thought it was, just interesting, just funny.
I didn't see it coming at all. I didn't see that.
I didn't see it coming either, to be honest. But I
thought it was good. I
knew something had to change since he still prevented or made his dad, like, how he put it on the top shelf, so he made his dad look at the camera to prove he was there, right? So it was like you changed that one little thing. It's like something has to change, and going through my mind for the rest of the movie is like, what's gonna change in his future since he did this in the past? And then George Clooney showed up, and I'm like, and I was like, okay, well, at least they're consistent with the changing things. So I was like, okay, that's good. Yeah. I was pretty happy about that.
Yeah, they're pretty airtight on the time travel stuff, I feel.
I feel like the one thing we both liked about this, and correct me if I'm wrong about this, but the way how they described, or how Keaton specifically described time.
Yeah, that was cool.
With the noodles and stuff, I feel like that's a good way, because they literally took a jab at Marvel. Remember how Marvel was like, if you change something, the timeline splits like this? He literally said, no, that's BS. This is how it is. And he said there's intersecting points, and there's a fulcrum where like everything has to happen, and multiple timelines at all.
Which that kind of makes sense, because a different past has to lead up to that point.
Yeah. So it's like, and he's like, if you mess with that fulcrum, and then he just like broke all the timelines, and it was a huge mess. And it's like, that's exactly how it is. That's a great way of looking. That's probably one of the better ways of explaining time, rather than looking at the MCU's way of like the splitting timelines. It's like, I like that theory about time a lot better than what the MCU had to say about that.
Yeah.
So
Yeager said, have you heard that the movie had 3 different endings? I didn't hear about that.
Oh yeah, there was. Well, didn't you remember? Who said it had like? Someone earlier said they had like 18 directors.
Yeah.
So it was like there was going to be this ending. This is how it was. Okay. So it's like, to be honest, I am curious to see how it could have ended. Yeah. That's why we need an alternative ending. Like, remember we were talking about the alternative ending thing, where it's like, put out a version that we can see how we want it to end, and how it, and that'll obviously affect how people see it. But I feel like,
I think the George Clooney movie is in that so bad it's good category. I love revisiting the Joe Schumacher movies.
You know what's funny?
Wonderful Clooney came back.
I was actually reading this. There's what exists? The Schumacher cut of Batman Forever. It exists.
Really?
The Schumacher cut exists, and he is showing it in theaters. Joe Schumacher is showing this in theaters somewhere in Chicago on July 1st of this year. I saw this. This was a whole news article I wrote. The Schumacher cut of the Joel Schumacher Batman movies, they exist, and he is showing them. Like, and he even said it's not something that's like it's going to majorly change the story and everything, but he's like, I removed scenes that people hated. I added scenes that make the story better. So it's like,
nice.
It's like it exists. I have to go see that Schumacher. Yeah. That's what everybody's saying. Everybody's like, okay, well, Joe Schumacher has listened to the fans. He's making it. He said it exists. He said it has existed for a long time. I just haven't been able to show it until now. And now he's going to show it somewhere in Chicago on July 1st. And he said the tickets are free or whatever, but he's like, there's a capacity. So it's like first come, first serve kind of thing, which will be interesting. But I really hope to see the Schumacher cut on DVD or cool. Streaming at some point in the future, because I would love to go back and rewatch those.
Yeah. Jaeger says that one ending was having Michael Keaton and Sasha Calle, Supergirl, meet Barry in the courthouse, and the second one was having Henry Cavill, Superman, Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman, and Michael Keaton, Batman, meeting Barry in the courthouse. And
to be honest, I wouldn't get the one where if it was just like Sasha Calle is Supergirl and like because he restored it essentially back to normal, and none of that stuff with Dark Flash was ever supposed to happen. Right. But he did end up changing one small thing to begin with, so it's like I get the George Clooney thing. Yeah. I feel like that's how it should have ended. But I feel like I would have also been okay with Henry Cavill Superman, Gal Gadot Wonder Woman, and still like a Michael Keaton Batman is the one thing that kind of changed. Right. I would have been fine with that too, but obviously Henry Cavill was a no-no, and they couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So it's like, cool idea, but
what are you gonna do? All right, this is what I thought about the movie. Personally, the only thing that like I left the theater thinking about this, like the only problem I had about the movie was the CGI. I thought that was the only like bad part about the movie. Like to label that as the bad part, I thought the CGI was. I don't understand how someone can like look at that movie, like look at that CGI and say, okay, this is ready to go in a movie theater. Like this is ready for the silver screen.
That's what everybody's wondering, dude. Everybody's wondering the same thing.
I was looking at like Alien Isolation cutscenes. That movie's from like that game's like from like 2011, and it has better graphics than the Flash movie. So really, I just thought that was the only part I disliked about the movie. I see what you mean about the Dark Flash. I feel like really every villain, or every like classic villain is the counter, like just the superhero counterpart. So it's Barry. He's So I feel like the Dark Flash is like an alternate timeline in itself, because it's like, what if it all just started it's just all the butterfly effect basically. So I thought it was kind of cool. Dark Flash as a villain, I feel like he didn't have that much gravity to the as a villain. Like he didn't have that much. He didn't have the it factor. I did feel the weight of the scene when all of the different worlds started like smashing together.
That was one of the scenes I really enjoyed. I very much.
That was cool.
The only thing I think I didn't enjoy from that scene was the fact that what I learned after the fact is they got like Nicolas Cage and the woman who played like the original Supergirl, like they got them to come in and film like actual cameos, but instead they just CGI'd over them.
Yeah, that's dumb.
So it's like what was the point of that then? It's like that's.
I didn't like the lasso truth part. Reminded me of the Jaws. It's like that was funny. I like that part.
That was funny. That is something. What's funny about that too? A lot of people didn't like that. Yeah. That's something that happens throughout like the comics, and also like Wonder Woman will just at some point she'll just like when she wants to know the truth about something, she will use the lasso of truth. It's something
even if it's unintentional, like someone gets wrapped up in it unintentionally,
Yeah.
and then they don't end up trying to get it off of that person. They just let them say what they have to
Yeah.
say, and then like it's something that happens. Like
Yeah.
that's something,
Yeah.
and I enjoyed it. That was fun.
Didn't Batman say like my ego's too big to say thank you or something like that, or like
Yeah. Or no, he said like. He was like, my parents died when I was like 6, and I can't get over it. So I had created this alternate persona, this dark alternate persona of myself to deal with my problems. It was something like that. He said that,
yeah,
and I that was funny. I laughed because that that's something that would happen in the comics or the animated universe even.
Yeah.
Like, that was funny.
That was funny. There were a lot of good moments like that, and I laughed at the part where Ezra Miller just started running around like in regular time.
That was also funny. That was yeah.
I thought when they were doing all the cameos at the end, like I see what you mean. Like they could have just put in Grant Gustin's Flash. Like that would have been so easy. 30 seconds. 30 seconds.
It would have been. It literally would have been. They got to show Adam West's Batman. Like, did you see him? It was that Yellow Earth that we kind of like passed, but it was like his voice came through and you saw him like running and stuff like that. So it's like, we got a cameo of Adam West's Batman. That dude is long gone, and the fact that we got to see him over Grant Gustin's Flash.
We're playing tribute to him.
I know, and I get that, but it's like,
yeah,
you cut out Grant Gustin's Flash to like give us a quick little snippet of like other stuff.
I'm mad that they chose goddamn Nicolas Cage Superman over Grant Gustin.
No, here's the thing. I like that, but the fact that it was CGI, I can't believe it.
Why'd you like Nicolas Cage as Superman? I didn't like Nicolas Cage as Superman.
I like Nicolas Cage as Superman. It's cool, dude.
What do you mean?
It's a shame that we didn't get to see the Superman Lives movie that was going to be made by Tim Burton.
It's not.
I feel like that would have been cool. Because here's the thing. That would have been a very much product of the 90s. And you know what's funny? If you look at, I gotta find the cover, but there's a cover of him with long hair looking exactly like Nicolas Cage's Superman that they would have made for the film. Like it's an actual storyline he goes through where he grows out his hair and he has like a weird 90s looking suit. It's like a whole thing. So I feel like it would have worked, but it's like obviously they didn't want it.
Nicolas Cage is the opposite of the Superman face.
I don't really care about that. It's like a phase. It would have been like a product of the 90s, and it would have been like a cult classic. I feel like
if that movie was made, then I feel like Grant Gustin would deserve to be in this movie instead of being like.
I feel like Grant Gustin would have deserved to be in this movie either way. I don't know why
but I feel more because I feel like putting Nicolas Cage in as a cameo in this movie is like
I know. Look, Bottom said it. It would have been so bad I would have liked it. It would have been a cult classic, product of the 90s, stuff like that, you know.
Okay. All right. Have you seen Face Off, Jaeger? That's a classic, man.
I need to watch it.
John Travolta, Nicolas Cage. Remember at the beginning with the CGI babies, and then he opened up the microwave and the baby was in? There's the CGI baby in the microwave.
You know what I found weird about that scene is that the microwave was still running because everything was going in slow motion. So the microwave was still running. Because remember how you heard it when he put everything on the ground, the microwave dinged like it was done cooking something, and then he opened up the door. So it was like it was still. You heard that? I heard that. And I was like, that's when I thought, like, oh my god, the microwave was still hot, and he put a baby in there. Like, you didn't catch that? I caught that immediately, bro. There was the ding, and then he like looked over, and he was like, oh, and then he opened up the door, and then that's when the baby.
Okay.
I was like, he put
that baby should be died.
He put a baby in a still hot microwave.
And how is it operating? How is it working? If it just fell out of
I don't know. Well, here's the thing. It could have it probably was being used, but here's the thing. Even if it was like not working, it still would have been hot because somebody was using it. Remember how the burrito fell out of the microwave and then he ate it And so somebody was using it. So it was like
That
he
makes
put a
sense.
baby in a running microwave, dude.
John Travolta, calling Solid Punisher.
John Travolta.
And
I don't. The dude's too old, man. He's
How old
like
is he?
frail. He's like, I don't know. He's too
Frail.
old. Oh, my dog's barking.
He's 69.
I don't know. Every
not bad, bro. It's
recent
not
thing, every recent thing I've seen John Travolta in, he's like limping, like he's got kind of like a hunch, or like a
Really?
back, I don't know. It's like he's too old, man.
I mean, like Harrison Ford is like what? He's like 80 or something like that.
Yeah, but then again, he broke his wrist on the set of Indiana Jones, so it's
Yeah.
like they're all
Yeah,
old and
yeah.
frail.
Yeah. Okay. I really liked Michael Keaton. Looked good.
Oh
He
yeah,
looked
he
good.
looked good.
He looked great.
I liked Michael Keaton, except for the fact that once I started seeing more of him, the more and more I realized, okay, he's there to do everything the Flash can't do.
Well,
Look, think about this, right? The first person he tried to track down once he got into this new world, other than himself, was Batman and all the other members of the Justice League. So he needed help, right?
Yeah.
He by doing that,
Well,
he admitted
obviously.
to the audience he needed help. So and then he went to go get him.
Yes.
And Michael Keaton was like, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I don't want any part in this, but I'm going to take you to this this fortified Russian prison in the middle of Russia. I'm going to drop you off and you're going to go get whoever and I'm going to help you. And then we're going to leave.
Yeah,
and then
he's
they
basically
went,
like, yeah.
And then they went, and he was, even though he was like, I don't want any part in this, but I'll help you get there and get your friend, and then that's it for me. And then actually no, forget about after the fact. While they were in the prison, they were getting shot at, and there's one speedster there who could literally have but since he's inexperienced, right? You know, he messed up. He got shot in the leg.
So then knee.
Keaton was there. Literally, Keaton, when I'm talking about plot armor, Keaton literally unfolded his wings and literally acted as a human shield for everybody while everybody was trying to escape.
Well, yeah.
And then the other thing is too, without him, they would have fallen into that pit and got crushed by that giant prison tank. And then Keaton was like, okay, I'm gonna bomb the floor so that we could get out through here. He bombed the floor. And then they found an elevator shaft, and he's like, okay, I'm going to use another one of my bombs to thrust us up into the air, probably 200-something feet.
Yeah, but that's Batman, though. That's Batman. Okay, so there's a lot
I know that's
in
Batman, but it's like,
okay.
But Keaton literally said, he was like, I don't want anything to do with this, but I'll help you find your friend. And then he proceeds to drop them off at a Soviet Union, prison camp in the middle of Russia, and and you know what's weird too, the Flash could have literally if what do you call it, I feel like what it would have been better is if Keaton got satellite photos and maps of because he has access to that stuff, maps of the whole compound, and just told, and then Ezra told new Flash Ezra, the recently gained power Flash, okay, I want you to run over, because he can run across water, so it's like a no-brainer for him. So it's run over to Russia, go through here and here, and he literally tried all he knew to try all the combinations on that passcode. He could have just ran in, done all the combinations, gotten out like that, and ran back with her. So it's they could have formulated it better to where it would have been a more believable thing.
Okay.
Than Keaton just okay, I'm going to drop you guys off here and help you out.
Let me say
I don't want any part of this.
If they did it that way, there wouldn't be a huge action scene with Batman. Okay,
that is true. But I feel like from
you can
from
say
a
that
movie,
with any
from a movie in plot standpoint, Michael Keaton was plot armor, and there's nothing you can say to convince me otherwise. And also, by the way, I didn't even get to after the fact. After the fact, he was like, all right. He was like, all right, I helped you guys. You're on your own. And then he proceeded to change his mind and say, okay, actually, I do want to help you guys out and defeat Zod and whoever it is, which is like rightfully so. But it's like this dude's coming out of who knows long of a retirement, because he's even said he's done as Batman. He's probably been done as Batman for a long time. He's coming out of retirement.
It did seem like he put on his suit a little too
people, quick. Yeah, for people he didn't even know, to protect people he didn't even want to protect, just to do all this stuff for them and proceed to say, "Hey, I don't want any part in this."
Well, that was before. I feel like he realized how important it was because he messed with the timeline and how so that I feel like that's why he said yeah.
But at first he even was like, after he even did that, he even told them, like, you guys do this, like he'll like, okay, I can get you here, I can show you this and this, but I don't want to do it. Like, I don't want any part in this. Like, he said that even after he explained all the timeline stuff to Barry and them, even after he understood the gravity of the situation.
Yeah.
And he still said, I don't want anything to do.
Well, sometimes that just happens, you know. Sometimes you get roped into doing something you don't want to do, but that doesn't mean like you don't have to be Batman to.
It's just plot armor, and he was thrown into the movie to help them out.
It would still be plot armor even if he had interest in doing it in the first place.
Exactly. It's plot armor. He was there for plot armor.
So
great guy, great cameo, great action scenes. Definitely is still Batman, but it's like plot armor.
I feel like
if you took out Michael Keaton's Batman completely from this movie, they would have been able to do all this.
It would not be as good of a movie without Michael Keaton's Batman.
That is true, but with him, he's plot armor. Without him, they would have been able to figure out other ways around this whole situation. And you know what's also funny? The whole, the vibrating through the wall thing, where it's like they just like, it's like they didn't even have to get into the Russian compound. He could have just like, and like vibrated through all the walls into the prison chamber, do that, get her, and get out like that, because they can vibrate also when he's vibrating.
Yes, okay. I feel like, this is Dark Knight. This is Dark Knight's way of thinking here. Okay, you've watched the movie and
I'm smarter than them. That's the problem. I'm smarter than them.
You know what? I feel like every movie needs to have a Dark Knight in it to actually think. But this is Barry's plan here. This is like the rookie Flash. He's had his powers for like few years. Okay. He's a young kid, okay, and he decides that he needs to find Batman in this alternate universe because he's the only friend he has.
Yeah,
and maybe he could help him, and he did help him, but he
didn't want to help.
Okay, but you keep using that, but that doesn't explain the plot armor thing. Okay, he didn't want to help, but then he did.
And then he just, for whatever reason, decides to change his mind when aliens show up and just.
Okay, but that doesn't matter though.
You got to think about this though. This dude, this version of Batman, has been a homeless person living in his house.
He's like squatting in the mansion,
however long. He doesn't want to help anybody. Gotham's the safest place on the planet. Yada yada. He doesn't care, right? But from out of nowhere, these two guys with superpowers show up and start talking about time, and the Keaton's like, okay, I understand that, but I still don't want to help you guys because I just don't care enough. That's literally what he was saying. And then all of a sudden, once he saw like Supergirl and like all this stuff happened, he was like, okay, I've already helped you guys once, but I'm going to help you again this one last time. It's just like a plot armor.
But so what? That's all I can say about that.
So what?
Yeah, so what?
So what? It's Michael Keaton's Batman.
Yeah, what's wrong?
I think we can agree on that.
I feel like
I'm not against him being in the movie, but because he was in this movie, people got to see that he was just plot.
Is it just the the involvement, like the amount of involvement he had in the plot, and the importance he had? Is that the problem?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
would you have him rather be like a cameo or like just like have him like start off to like, okay, I'll fly you here and you can do the rest or whatever. Like his like, what do you?
I feel like he still could have been. You need planner to sell ticket. That is very true. And here's the thing. I feel like this goes back to. I know this is a complete like 180 from the Flash movie, but it's like I feel like this goes back to the Spider-Man No Way Home with Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire's appearance.
Yeah,
because I feel like that's what this comes back to. The reason why I don't think they were necessarily plot armor in that movie and actually had a purpose was because Tom Holland is going up against villains he's never fought before. He doesn't know the weakness, and it's this whole thing that would have taken him forever to figure out. Because Toby and Andrew showed up and actually actively tried to go and find the Spider-Man of that universe to help him, instead of Tom like looking to see if they were around, was like this whole thing where it's like, and they showed it when they were all in the lab, like, hey, we've defeated these villains before. We can all work together and figure out how to defeat all of them. Like Andrew was like, okay, I fought Electro and Lizard. I know how to defeat Lizard, and we can work on a way to defeat Electro, hence the arc reactor technology that they tried to use, right? So, and then Toby was like, okay, I fought Green Goblin and Doc Ock before, but Doc Ock ended up being a good guy, so it's like he kind of helped them out. So they did end up curing Doc Ock, but that was all Tom Holland. He did that. He did that with his nanochip thing. And actually, what's his name? Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin actually helped him do that. So it's like this whole thing of them all working together and figuring out how to do all this stuff together in a smart like way to do it that didn't exactly make them plot. With Keaton in the Flash, Keaton didn't necessarily work with them. He was the one doing all the work. That made it, to me, seem like he was plot armor. He didn't, he worked with them, yeah, but it's like Keaton did everything. He got him into the Russian prison. What else did he do? He fought off most of the guards while Ezra was trying to get to Supergirl and whatever. And they were trying to break her out. He literally acted as a human shield for them. He airlifted them out with his Batwing, which for some reason is still working all of these years. After all these years, just sitting in the Batcave. It's this whole thing, and then
is it just that one scene? Is it just that?
He
one
also
scene?
Provided air support in the final battle, which is just like he wasn't really doing anything against Kryptonian ship at that point. He was just there to be there. And then the only other thing that I think he was there for a reason for was when they were showing the deaths of him and Supergirl over and over and over again, like it's supposed to happen.
What do you mean? Wait, like
so I feel like when he should have been there was when when they were talking about the deaths of them were supposed to happen, and they were doing it over and over and over. The other times, like when we first saw him, when he was giving them information about where everything is, when they went to the Russian facility, it's like this whole thing where it's like he did most of the work for all of that. And then in the end battle, when they're literally fighting Kryptonians and the U.S. Army, because remember, the U.S. Army started firing at him because they didn't know who he was when they first entered. So it's like, at that point, he was just there to fly around and provide air support or whatever. But it made it purposeful when they started showing the deaths of him and Supergirl over and over and over.
I don't remember that. When is that? When was that?
Remember when? So the first time when Supergirl gets stabbed by Zod and her blood gets taken, and then Michael Keaton's Batman tries to do a kamikaze suicide bomb into the
was once
ship.
He died once, and
that was once, and then they went back and tried to change it, and then the second time they saved Keaton from flying into that thing. He said it was shielded. And then remember the dude, and then Keaton looked down and he was like, remember that big Kryptonian dude who's really strong? Yeah. He was jumping everywhere. He's like, maybe that ship was bulletproof, but he's not. And he started just shooting at the dude.
Yeah.
And then the dude jumped up onto his ship and tore the thing off, and then he flew to the ground, and then they started hand fighting, and Keaton was just like putting bombs all over him.
That reminded me of the scene from the Avengers with the Hulk and the jet fighter pilot.
Yeah, well, and then the dude woke up and he grabbed Keaton. I think I screamed like damn when he did this. He grabbed Keaton's Batman and he went like this on the ground and he slammed him on the ground.
Oh
I was
yeah.
like, there's no way he's coming back from that, dude. He just got slammed by like a Superman type dude, right? And then he died a second time, and then that's when they went back again. Then that's the last part of the movie when they tried.
But I feel like all right, this is what I gotta say to that. I feel like that is what that's what evens out the plot armor. You're saying with
I guess it evens it out because
I would also say that I wouldn't necessarily call it plot armor breaking into the Soviet thing, because I feel like that's posing more as showing off this cool this is just a cool Batman scene. I feel like it is like, I wouldn't say it's primarily Batman there. I feel like it's a little even. Batman's doing a little bit more of the work, right? Yeager says that big dude did the same thing in Man of Steel and the Smallville fight.
Did, yeah.
So I think that's like, yeah, they could have just like had Barry run over there, face through the wall, but as a movie, like,
but here's the thing:
we need to have a cool break-in scene.
It's not just that, but it's like there's multiple different ways they could have done this with Batman's help, but not him fully doing all the work. Like, it's not just that one instance that you just mentioned.
He was there to help when he was needed. Okay, he flew him over. He had the.
But that's another thing. They didn't have to fly. Barry literally could have ran. The Flash literally circles the Earth in like 5 seconds. You can't tell me the dude couldn't have just like ran him and his friends over there, like gone back and forth, just like ran him to Russia, ran him to Russia, ran him to Russia, and they would have all been there. Like, they just had to take. There was no other way, and they had to take Michael Keaton's Batwing over and fly it into Russian airspace, just for him to drop them off and then circle back around to pick them up. It's like it's just an inconvenience. It's just like.
But I feel like if it's an inconvenience, by that logic, it's not plot armor because he's not there to.
But he got them there instead of them being smart about it. It's like, and then not only that, but when they were inside, they would have died if it was just him and the Flash, like his doppelganger and the Flash and a burnt out Sasha Calle Supergirl, just in there.
I do not. Okay.
Her out. If Keaton wasn't there, they would have died.
Okay, they would have, but that's not the way it played out in the movie. What would have been more infuriating, and yes, I would agree with you that it would be plot armor if they had thought about just making Barry run there and phase through, but they chose to fly there so that they had that cool scene. If they chose to fly over, like if they chose that option, then that would have been more infuriating as plot armor. But that's just not they didn't think of that. You know, that's just not how the movie.
But it made it more convenient for them as characters and us as audience to just further the story and get it over with. You know what I'm saying? Like, it could have been longer. It could have been a more entertaining, planned out. This whole thing they had to break into this Russian prison. It could have been better, but they just had Keaton fly him there, get Supergirl, get out, like airlifted. He provided support inside. He literally threw batarangs at everybody until everybody was knocked out. He acted as a human shield when he put his cape up.
But that's all Batman stuff, though. You know, it's cool to see Batman like.
No, that's yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like there's other ways they could have done it without him.
Along with literally every other
having him just makes it more convenient. But it's like what you're saying doesn't apply because Keaton is a character who was brought back from a 1989 and a 1992 Batman film just to be in this movie to provide support like this. It feels less of like a cameo and kind of some help and more of like a plot armor.
I feel like it would have been more disappointing if they brought Michael Keaton back, and if he came out of retirement to help Barry like do this stuff, and if
here's
he
the
didn't
thing.
do anything,
What if they never like even thought of bringing Keaton back for this? What if we went to go see this movie and Keaton wasn't here? Just forget about Keaton. Like, say he wasn't considered for this at all.
right?
And we went to go see a version of the movie without Keaton in it. We would have had a more entertaining and drawn out prison break scene. We would have.
Yeah. Yep. But I think also Supergirl would have a larger part in it as well, because I feel like Supergirl wasn't shown it to her full power.
Yeah, that is true. And we also would have had probably mostly the same ending fight, because Batman really didn't do anything except repeatedly die. If you think about it,
with Dark Flash, is that what you mean, or
no? With like Batman, when he just repeatedly kept dying over and over.
Yeah,
he didn't do anything else. He didn't kill anybody. They were all Kryptonian, so it was like, he couldn't kill anybody.
All right.
So it still would have like been the same, or at least better, in the sense that they actually had to think of ways to do all this stuff without having Batman just do it all for them. It wouldn't have been a Flash and Batman movie. It would have been a Flash movie.
Okay. Wait, what? Wait, Flash and... Because otherwise, without the Bat... You're saying, like, without Michael Keaton's Batman, it'd just be a Flash movie?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're saying, like, there's too much Batman in this movie?
Yeah, actually, yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay.
It's not that I didn't like Michael Keaton's Batman. It's just, like...
He was too involved.
Even think about this too. Even in the Flashpoint Batman, like have you seen the Flashpoint movie, like the animated movie?
No.
Even in that movie, Batman didn't have a huge role. Batman got introduced, like Thomas Wayne's Batman got introduced. He was there. He didn't show up really until like the end fight, right? And then he was the one who ended up putting a bullet through Reverse Flash's head. So it's like, okay, that kind of works. But he wasn't like a convenient helper. Actually, Thomas Wayne's Batman was really like, he was like, oh, I don't want to help you, get off my earth. Like he was a very like, he wasn't like, he really didn't want to do anything for him, because he kept bringing up the point like, I don't know you, I don't know what you're trying to do. We're all at war right now. I got problems with my own. He was that type of Batman, right? Until he saw like Reverse Flash and he started destroying all of Gotham with him in a fight with Barry, and then he ended up coming back in the end to help Barry defeat the Reverse Flash, which is more of like, that's less of plot armor and more of like separating the two stories, Yeah. Like they separated it. They got Batman to do some things and help him out a little bit, but it's like he didn't actually really show up and help until the very end in the final battle, right? In the Flash movie, we saw Batman do everything that the Flash couldn't, or could have done but didn't want to. So it's like he got them to that Russian prison. He was the one who helped them get Supergirl out. He was also the one who airlifted him off the prison, Russian airspace, whatever. He also got information. Remember that folder he gave him? What was that folder of? There was a folder he gave him at some point in the movie that had a bunch of information on stuff, but I forgot what it was about.
Batman gave Barry something?
Yeah. Remember Barry was like sleeping on the desk in the Batcave, and he woke up with like a cup of coffee in that folder next to him, and then Barry like looked in the folder, and it was like, it was just like information.
I don't remember what it was.
I forgot. Oh, he was looking for his doppelganger. No, that wasn't it. I thought that was it. But no, there was a folder he gave him, and it gave him the location to someone or something. I don't think it was Supergirl, because I think Supergirl was already there at that point. And she went to go see Zod.
I don't remember what it was.
Anyway, he gave him something that helped him out a ton and move the story forward. But it's like, I don't know. I would have liked to see less of Batman, more of Flash, and him actually use the knowledge that he has to do stuff instead of finding Batman and having him do most of the stuff for him.
I think that is the way that Barry has been like trained to think, because this is the Barry we know from the Justice League. As a team member, he's not a leader. He sees this problem and he goes to Batman, the only one he knows how to help. And it's not even the Batman that he knows, but it's the only lead that they have. And so I think that he's mainly fixated on trying to get Batman's help. And
he wanted to get the whole Justice League. You know what I would have been even more mad about? If they got like an entire alternate version of the Justice League to help out, which would be so bad.
Yeah, that would suck. So what I'm saying, if you want to go into Barry Allen's character, I think that I think it was right for him to seek help for this. And I think that personally, I thought Batman did the perfect amount of help for me as a viewer. I thought it was like, I saw a perfect amount of Batman screen time. He died earlier than I would have liked. I wanted more Batman, honestly. I thought that the amount of Supergirl we had was great. Well, I thought we could have seen more Supergirl. She could have helped more, but she was just introduced in that movie, so you can't really. And so honestly, I thought that was good. I didn't see any problem with it. While I was watching the movie, I did not see your case about Batman being plot armor. That's it. 7 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, I'll go 7 out of 10 too.
Okay, cool. After all that disputed, we both.
Well, I thought. Well, here's the thing. I thought your rating wouldn't match. After all you said about it, I thought your rating wouldn't match.
No, because the CGI sucked. It was that bad. But it was.
So was it just the CGI?
It was not. It was not just. I think it was just a good superhero movie. A 10 out of 10 movie is 2001: A Space Odyssey, bro. That's the 10 out of 10.
But here's the thing: I'm not gonna give it like a 6 out of 10 because we gave She-Hulk a 6 out of 10, which it doesn't sit right with me. 5 or 6, but even then, it's saying it's just a little bit better than She-Hulk. I can't do that.
She-Hulk is. I don't think we can really compare She-Hulk to anything.
We can't. But it's I'll give it a 7 out of 10. I'll be a little generous and say, you know what? It's not the biggest disappointment in my life. It wasn't even disappointing.
It was a good movie, right?
It was good. I just walked out feeling like there were things I would have done differently, which I can't do.
I can understand that.
But it's I was it was fine with it.
I was entertained as a viewer, and most of my movies I rate on an entertainment scale.
Okay.
And so 7 out of 10. We rated Secret Invasion episode 1 to 7 out of 10 and Flash 7 out of 10.
I think that fits.
Okay, cool. Yeah. How long were we talking about the Flash for? Was that 30 minutes?
I think longer, 45 minutes.
All right, well, cool. It's time for cover battles now, people. And I'm super hot.
Because I think our viewer count went down. We'll see. We went from 10 people to 3 people in the course of an hour. It's crazy. But yeah, we'll do cover battles to see if anybody's willing. And you're still super hot. You've been super hot for 2 weeks now.
I wouldn't mind, I wouldn't mind delaying cover battles for another week,
I would be fine with that. because I kind of want to do another tier list, but I don't know what I want to do a tier list.
I
on.
think we're already at 2 hours. We can end the stream right now, honestly.
Do you want to? I feel like that's a bit abrupt.
I mean, we usually do 2.5 hours, you know. Let's do a practice round. Let's do a practice round.
You know where we at. It's prime time rapping. Let's go ahead and get into it. We got our challenger over here.
Yep. T-Bone 225, run my nap.
225? Is that an area code or something? Put that on map quick.
Oh, shit.
T-Steak. Let's go ahead and get into our main man, the champion himself. No need for introduction.
First of all, I'm not a rapper.
Let's go ahead and get into this little coin toss here. Good luck.
Hey,
about luck.
you know what I do? Heads.
Okay.
You know how I go.
Yep. Tails.
Hey. I go first.
Yeah, but
Hey, tell him.
hold on. I want to talk. When it comes super hot, he goes first. What is this?
All right.
Practice
Super
round.
Practice round, super hot. I go first. Any book you want.
I'm gonna actually use a couple of my pickups for these first few because I'm fairly confident that a couple of these covers will get votes because I like them and it's variety. So
All right. Okay. Sounds good. Wait. I'm thinking too hard here. I'm thinking too hard on this practice round, not gonna lie. Do you have your book? Oh, you have your book. Oh, geez.
yeah. Remember the 1 minute rule?
Yes, I remember the 1 minute rule, bro. Look, I invented the 1 minute rule. Okay, I invented that. Okay. What was I watching? Someone was like, "Oh, you know Charlotte Flair? Do you know the wrestler Charlotte Flair?
No.
You know Ric Flair?
Oh.
Charlotte
his
Flair's
daughter?
daughter of Ric Flair. Yeah,
Okay.
and she's wrestling in WWE.
Okay.
And she was talking to someone in the ring, and they were like, "You gotta like wait your turn in line or whatever to fight or whatever." And she was like, "I made the line. A line starts and ends with me." And that's me with the timer.
That's crazy.
All right, here we go. I'm super high. I'm gonna show my book here. This is a pretty badass cover. This is Terminator Secondary Objectives #1. Check it out. You got the endoskeleton in the leather jacket, leather pants, looking classy with the belt buckle. There it is. Boom.
I'm just doing this book because it's something different. Blip magazine, issue #2. Classic Spidey playing Spidey cover. Right there on the.
I was wondering if you're gonna. I really like that cover. I actually really want to get that. Actually.
Well, here's the thing. Look this book up on eBay and see how much they're going for right now.
Did you check?
I've checked.
Blip
It's
magazine 2. Oh.
like, isn't it like 20 or $30 or something crazy?
A 9.8 CGC sold for $500.
This is not a 9.8. Although, if I pressed it,
But to be fair,
no, it
two
would
copies of a CGC 9.4 sold for around 50.
Yeah,
So
that's probably what mine's probably like a 9.4 or a 9.2
Yeah.
to be honest.
okay. Yeah, that Blip magazine #1 is I've seen that before. Not in person, but I know of it. So
Yeah, the #1 is crazy, dude.
yeah.
But
I
even
guess
like
it
this #2 for like, I got this for $3. That's a good deal. High grade too.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess you won then, bro. You got to vote.
Nice.
What do you want to do? What do you want to do here?
You know what's funny? Actually, wait, no, never mind. What do you want to do?
I want to do cover battles, but there's only 2 people in here. I feel like if we do a tier list, we're going to be on until 3 hours. You know, I'm kind of tired, honestly. I don't know if I can do 3 hours.
You're tired. I stayed up till 4 a.m. yesterday watching Game of Thrones. I binge watched the entire 4th season. You're tired? You have the audacity to say that you're tired in front of me? That's crazy. All right. Yeah, I don't know what we should do.
Okay. I think we should end the stream. We had a good amount of people. We had 11 viewers. We reached 11 viewers. Jaeger wants to, bro. You want to play Minecraft?
I can play Minecraft.
You want to play Minecraft with me, Jaeger? We can hop into Discord VC right now.
Oh yeah.
Let's do it, Jaeger, bro. I'm not even joking, bro.
I need to get on my Xbox though. So.
Oh, you got
I don't got PC.
Bedrock.
You guys. I don't know the different versions. That's kind of
okay. Bedrock. Okay, so Java is only on PC.
Okay.
I can play on my PlayStation though. If Jaeger has Bedrock,
we got the same version. Yeah, we got the same version.
All right. Well, thanks for watching, guys. 11. What happened? What was up with all the viewers at the beginning? That was insane. We've never had.
I don't know. That is weird. And like Legion and who else was in here? Bottom tier was in here. I don't know if he's still in here.
Yeah. What? Okay. So if it says I'm playing Minecraft on my PlayStation, that's my little brother. I never play Minecraft on my PlayStation. He always. Nice. That's the only reason I have Minecraft on my PlayStation is because he wanted to play it. And I was like, nice. Okay. So I only play Minecraft on here on my computer, but you know, we can play Minecraft on it. Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, I wonder if like, yeah, okay, well, I wonder if like someone like link dropped the stream to someone, or maybe. I know notifications are iffy.
Yeah. You know what's weird? It's like last week it was like no one was in here.
No one was in here, no, really.
And then like this week, you know what's weird? People were in here early. So what does that mean? Because you were thinking about starting later, and like we usually get more later, but it's like a bunch of people were in here early this time.
Maybe we start an hour early. Start at 7 or something. That's an idea.
I'll be fine with that.
And then everyone left as we were talking. And then everyone left as soon as we started talking about like
maybe everyone just went to go like watch the Flash or Secret Invasion episode 1.
I don't think so.
And it's like they show up in like 2 minutes and it's like okay, everybody's done.
I think there may be another like stream going on or something. I don't know.
Maybe.
Whatever it is, it's all right. Oh, DJ Links is live. Okay, well,
he was live and he was in here too.
Well, he's been streaming for a little over an hour, so he probably popped in here before the stream.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for watching, guys. Jaeger. Oh yeah, literally. Everyone in the chat, like they got some panel members that were in the chat here.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, that makes sense. All right. Thanks for watching, everyone. That was a good stream. Good talk about the Flash. That was awesome.
Yeah.
And yeah, all right, we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
See you guys.